we will provide some cost and timeline. Hope you enjoy. During the 1764, the British government left the colonies alone to manage themselves. Therefore, the government began to create new laws and taxes about sugar, currency, and stamp. The colonists was not happy and become no taxation without representation. Many colonists began to protest against these new taxes and laws. Son of the Liberty was named after the protester in Boston during 1765. After that protest, several colonists were shot and killed, and known as Boston Massacre. In 1773, the British government created a new tax on tea. Therefore, the protests started to throw tea into the water and become known as Boston Tea Party. During 1774, 12 colonies sent representatives to the First Continental Congress. As a direct response to the Intolerable Acts, they sent a letter to King George III to repeal the Intolerable Act. However, they never get a response, so they start to boycott British goods.
In 1775, when the Second Continental Congress convened in Philadelphia, delegates including new additions Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson voted to form a Continental Army with Washington as its commander-in-chief. On June 17, in the Revolution's first major battle, colonial forces, American revolutionists, caused heavy damages on the British regiment of General William Hood at Breed Hill in Boston. Even though the British won the Battle of Bunker Hill, colonial force did not give up and continued the revolution. In March 1776, the British evacuated Boston, and Howe and his men retreated to Canada to prepare a major invasion of New York after a long fight throughout the fall and winter. By June 1776, there were a lot of battles with the Revolutionary War in full swing. The colonists wanted independence from Britain, so on July 4, the Continental Congress voted to adopt the Declaration of Independence, drafted by a 5-man committee but written mainly by Jefferson. Meanwhile, the British government sent big troops to New York to crush the rebellion. In August, Howe redcoats routed the Continental Army on Long Island. Washington was forced to evacuate his troops from New York City by September. However, Washington fought back with a surprise attack in Trenton, New Jersey, on Christmas night and won another victory at Princeton. The American troops set quarters at Morristown. These events raised hope to all Americans.
The British had plans. The main point was to separate New England from the other colonies. John Burgoyne's army marched south from Canada to meet with Howe's force on the Hudson River. In September 1777, the American army by William Howe won the British army in the first battle, or later in the second battle, the British army surrendered. In 1788, the American victory of the Battle of Saratoga was a turning point in the American Revolution, which put France openly into the war on the American side.
On July 8, 1778, the French Navy arrives on the Atlantic coast, ready to battle the British. They battled at England on Newport, Rhode Island. The Americans, together with French, attacked England, but it failed. The war ended in the north. In mid-August, then British forces under Lord Charles Cornwallis begin to invade to American Legion of the Gate at Camden. Then in early October, the Americans have won over Loyalist forces at Kings Mountain. In December, Nathaniel Greene intercepts the Gate in the commander of the Southern Regiment. Later, January 17, 1781, Daniel Morgan, which is Nathaniel Greene's command, win against British forces led by Colonel Banastre Tarleton at Coppin, South Carolina.
On 19 October 1781, the American army, which commanded by Jean, managed to withdraw to Yorktown, and supported by the French army, commanded by General Jean-Baptiste de Rochambeau. At the same time, Washington moved against Yorktown and empowered Sir Cornwallis, forced to surrender to his army. American and British signed the Treaty of Paris, and on September 3, 1783, the Great Britain gave the independence of the United States, and at the same time, Britain signed a peace contract with France and Spain, bringing the American Revolution to the end.